السلام عليكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على Kareem. Sorry, I think there's a frog that got stuck. Anyway, let's start the show with Sheikh Ahmed Amir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها ومن جاء بالسيئة فلا يجزى إلا مثلها وهم لا يظلمون. قل إنني هداني ربي إلى صراط مستقيم دينا قيما ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. قل أغير الله أبغي ربا وهو رب كل شيء ولا تكسب كل نفس إلا عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى ثم إلى ربكم مرجعكم فينبئكم بما كنتم فيه تختلفون. وهو الذي جعلكم خلائف الأرض ورفع بعضكم فوق بعض درجات ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم إن ربك سريع العقاب وإنه لغفور رحيم. صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulul Kareem. Amma ba'd. Azad, Captain Caveman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am Darun Cup of Tea Mac. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And this is Professor Gray, and I think I've positioned right in the middle today for some reason. So, but by the way,
That's
yeah,
right.
I'm not on my laptop. I'm on my phone. Yeah. So if anyone rings me, please don't ring me. Yeah, I can't use my phone at all.
You know, like you can tell you're on your phone, because last week we can just about see you. This week, like you're like, it's like you went to these more places. Isn't it?
You look chamatkar, you look खूब sensible. Very sensible.
No, you look खूबसूरत.
खूबसूरत है बड़ा बम बम बम. खूब चमत्कार है बड़ा बम
Oh,
बम
it's
बम.
gone.
Hey?
That's it.
That's enough of him.
It's good. Okay, welcome, brothers and sisters. As you know, how the show works. So if you want us to talk about anything, put it in the comment section. We don't do call-ins anymore because none of you call in because you're all scared. But if there is anything you do wish us to talk about, let us know. Okay, so off top of your head, Kalam.
Yeah.
Which is like full of hair at the moment, mashallah.
Oh, nice, mashallah. I brushed it for you as well, did I?
Mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. I couldn't be bothered, as you can tell. So what's been happening, bro? What's this week been about?
Well, I think we need to touch base on the coronavirus stuff quickly, as always. Yeah, we need to do, like, you know how Boris Johnson does his like speech and update. We need to just touch base, make sure everybody's all right, make sure everybody's doing their social distancing. If anybody's got any like insights into what's going on, if their area of the country is in lockdown, let's get some updates. Let's have a little conversation. But I want to talk a little bit about what Macron said about Islam and Erdogan's response, and I want to talk about Islam. Is Islam as Macron has described, you know, in trouble, in danger, in crisis, or the Muslims in trouble, in crisis, and Islam has never been in crisis,
or are the non-Muslims in crisis?
Yeah, let's have a little.
Is France in a crisis? That's what we should talk about as well. Okay, that sounds interesting. Okay, let's get the kind of weekly. Boris does daily briefing. We'll do the weekly briefing. Yeah. So, what's the latest you've been hearing? I mean, obviously the infection rates are pretty high. I think yesterday or the day before was like 17,000.
Yeah.
And I think it's making a lot of people panic and kind of get worried. But I actually I actually shared a chart with some people. When you look at the number of deaths compared to the infection rate, and you compare it from the beginning of the year, like say from March onwards, April, May, where we had the highest number of deaths, the infection rate wasn't as high. So what we have is like almost like a reversal. So we've got more infections but less deaths at the moment, whereas in March we had not as many infections but higher deaths. Now, obviously, this is very strongly caveated because we're doing more testing now. So more and more people are being tested. So that would explain why we have got more kind of infections, because obviously they are. But I haven't heard a good answer about why the number of deaths isn't as high. Because let's just say because of testing, what is it, 17,000? Let's just say, I don't know, 10,000 is because of the testing, increased testing, yeah? Or even 12,000. So we have 5,000 infections, which we had around April, May, June. But the deaths were like 800, 1,000, like, you know, that many numbers. So why is it like, you know, around 77, around 100 now? It is slightly increasing, but it's not increasing the way like we thought it would so far. Anyway, alhamdulillah. So have you guys heard any good answers for that, you know, question?
No, I don't think there is any good answers for that, because at the moment it's still early days, because we've actually got the seasonal flu that's going around as well. So there's a bit of confusion with that. I know loads of people who've got the seasonal flu, so they've got the same kind of symptoms. You know, they've got chest infection. They're getting the test done and it's coming out negative. So there's obviously that's taking place because we've approached winter now. But yeah, there's going to be some serious measures of lockdown in targeted areas and that. But the other thing is, there's a lot of rebellion. There is a lot of anti-lockdown, anti kind of conformity kind of.
Well, you say that. I mean, there's a couple of interesting things I've heard. One is, this is hilarious. So I'm hearing that up north, where it's actually really bad, like in places like Manchester and Oldham and all of that kind of stuff, Greater Manchester area, and even up in Bradford, that kind of area, that they're probably going to shut restaurants. They're not going to allow restaurants to open maybe completely, or they're going to severely reduce their hours. And what I found hilarious was that you had Boris pushing people out, eat out, help out, go out there and get all the infections going on and everything else, and now doing these such drastic measures is actually such a yo-yo for these businesses. Because can you imagine, like, a few months they did all right with the help and everything else, and I know, like, some places they've just opened up. Do you get it? Like, they've literally just opened up, and they might have to shut down on Monday. So this is like, I don't know how I can understand why people are frustrated. The second interesting thing.
No, they have a good reason. They have a good reason why they're frustrated, because there's no evidence to prove that the businesses actually was a big factor in the spike.
No, the biggest place is happening is in schools.
Yes, yeah, and also about with the restaurant trade, the hospitality trade, even according to the government statistics, about 5% of the infection rates happen in the restaurants, and that was before all the restaurants did those measures. The PPP. You can't go into. You have to mask up. You have to stand. But my thing here is that, look, I'm very clear that the government is trying to achieve herd immunity. I think that's exactly what it's trying to do, but it can't admit that, because what that means is, look, we're happy for, or we'll accept a number of people to die, because that's the only way you're going to get herd immunity, for a number of people in the population to die in order for the rest of us to get that herd immunity. It can't. It's a civilized government. It can't admit to that, and therefore it's playing around.
It might be a strong word. I think we shouldn't use extreme words in this show, please. Okay, I don't want Sarah Khan to kind of fall off her chair. Okay, we should not use words like civilized for this government, please. It's very unfair. They're nothing like civilized people at all. And let me just make it clear: Boris is not civilized at all. Okay, just in case anyone got that wrong. Okay, look, I've got a question for both of you to do with the pandemic. Okay, so I mean, we know we're in the pandemic. All of this stuff is happening, and viewers, listeners, do participate. How does a pandemic end?
Well, first of all, we need to know what the conditions of the pandemic is. And then when look at
Callum trying to be all academic about it. We need to do research.
One must ascertain with a level of certainty that what are the conditions of a pandemic. Thereafter,
that Professor Whitty guy.
Yeah, but look, once the infection.
No, serious question. How does a pandemic finish? I've got the answer. Because I watched this really nice cartoon video that explained how a pandemic it finishes. If I find it, I'll actually share it on my Facebook so you can see it. But go on, let me hear your answers. There's two ways it ends, basically.
Go on, tell us.
No, I want to hear your answers first.
Okay, my answer to how a pandemic ends is when things go back to before pandemic situation, isn't it? So, like, if, for example, the plague or Spanish fever, those were pandemics, and
they were, yeah. So, like, what we got now, SARS-2, is exactly like what you had, the bubonic plague. You had the Spanish flu. And actually, sorry, there's three answers to it. And funnily enough, like, the biggest infections have always come out of China. Right, this is the irony of these things. But anyway, all right. So that's your answer, Abdul. What's your answer?
I don't know, really. You put us on the spot now. I think
yes, like, you know what it is. The answer is exactly what you're thinking. The answer is. It's just that you don't think that's the answer, but that is. Just say it. Whatever's on top of your mind and tip of your lips, just say it.
I don't know. I just think they just need to find a cure, innit?
It doesn't.
Well done. That's one. That's one answer. A scientific, kind of solution to a pandemic is by finding vaccination. What's the other two?
survival of the fittest. People just learn to live it, innit? Live it out, bro.
Well done, well done. So basically, you get through. You develop enough immunity to it that it's okay. You overcome it. And what's the third one?
The extinction of planet Earth as we know
Brilliant.
it.
You got it. You got it. Basically, there's no more people alive for the virus to continue. Those are. This is. I was actually watching. I'm thinking.
Before you start thinking, before you start thinking, did you watch the David Attenborough, his speech?
Yeah.
On the environment.
Yeah.
What was one of the key things he said that kind of made some marks on you, or like made you think?
For me, David Attenborough said that one of the things he said that this is our last chance.
Yeah, but what did he say could potentially be one of the biggest causes? He mentioned something. I don't know if you picked up. I mean, I might be reading it wrong, but I'll tell you what it is. We are overpopulated in this planet.
No, rubbish, absolute rubbish. No, there is no way. There is no way. Okay, so all right. So how did he come to that conclusion? What is his criteria?
I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with him. I'm not saying I agree with him. You know what I mean? I think there's plenty of land. I mean, I just need.
It's not. It's just a load of nonsense. Like these people, right? I swear, they just think they're like, very. You got to take a lot of these celebrity. Attenborough is a celebrity. Doesn't mean he knows things. You get it? He has a expertise in certain things, but it doesn't mean he knows things. So if he's going around saying the world is overpopulated, you can just forget about ever following David Attenborough. But anyway, let me just finish my point about. Let me just finish my.
Reject the man for one statement, right?
Yeah, no, of course, bruv. That means he's gone gaga, isn't it? Like, come on. If someone goes loopy, you just, it's like, you say, oh, yeah, hi, David. You okay, mate? Yeah. Oh, would you like some, I don't know, grass? I don't know.
No, look, Sir David Attenborough, I've got to say, I've got much love for him, I've got loads of love.
No. His nature programs are really good, and his commentary on them is very good. The second to none, definitely. Anyway.
On the forum, so before you carry on, as Akhtar Khan is saying, we have fortnight of partial lockdown measures starting. Wish us lots of luck. You guys down south will be next. Lockdown 2.0, second wave. Where are you from, Akhtar Khan? Tell us.
Akhtar, I think he's from Scotland. I know him. I think Glasgow. Akhtar, what does partial lockdown mean? Just tell us. But anyway, going back to my point. Right, so there were at some period of time, I can't remember, it's in the video, it's like, I think about 800 years ago or whatever, there was some pandemic that was taking place, and basically the only reason it stopped is because it just wiped everyone out. It actually literally wiped everyone else, and only a very few people survived because of their immunity. So, like when we see these things, like, you're saying people are rebelling and all of that kind of stuff. One of the things it mentions in the video is that one of the solutions to a pandemic is social solution. What does that mean? It means people, they don't give a damn. They just go out there and whatever happens, right? They just, that's what it is, which is good and bad. But the good bit is, they might develop the immunity and get over it. The bad bit is, they'll be carrying it and maybe infecting more people, and especially more vulnerable people. So I think it's really important, people who want to, just stick two fingers at Boris and just say, like, we've had enough of this. We want to go back to normal. We want to do this, all that. I think they really do need to think. I mean, there are still a few people who think this is a conspiracy anyway. Alhamdulillah, most people realize actually it's real. I saw one person say, like, all these deaths by COVID, they're not true. Like, the doctors just added COVID just for the sake of it. They might have died of something else. So, you got all of that happening. And I think this is a very silly thing to do when you got this much this pandemic going on. The whole world is reacting. It's not a hoax. I mean, it's not a conspiracy. The whole world is reacting, is doing stuff. But look, have you seen South Korea's handling of COVID-19? Have you read about it?
heard of it. Yeah, I've read
Yeah.
about it.
So what I mean, there's basically two key things that I mean, there's other things, but there's two key things that they've got. One is they have a approach to the pandemic that is open, transparent, and they're like telling the public everything. They're not hiding things. They're not like misleading them. If they're saying they got PPE, then they've got it, and all of that kind of stuff. So transparency. And the second thing is, right, they have the trust of the people. The people actually trust them. And that's why, their test and trace and that technology and everything else, it was really good, and it didn't cost billions of pounds and a waste of money. B, because the people trust their government, they actually downloaded it and everything else. And what's happened is it's allowed them to build a triage of treatment. So what they have is like people who have mild symptoms and everything else, they go to their local GPs or hospitals and everything else. And when it's really severe, they go to a special designated ones, and they get quick time treatment. Everything is there, facilities are, and nothing is. Can you imagine? South Korea is not as developed as this country, and they don't run out of anything. And the number of deaths they've had is nothing compared to the UK. Is absolutely nothing. I mean, the population difference is like around 10 million. UK's got 10 million more people, I think, 10 or 15 million. So it's not really that huge. But, it just shows, like, if you don't have people in charge that you trust, that you respect, when it comes to these really, really difficult times, this is one of the reasons it goes, it's a shambles. Because every time people see the government, or anything to do with the NHS, anything to do with any policies, they all think, oh, you're a bunch of crooks. 12 billion pounds, man. Can you imagine? This government has pocketed 12 billion pounds. Subhanallah. That's the whole budget of the NHS, right? So how is everyone going to trust them?
And I think that's a really important point that more and more of the population are waking up to, which is that this government has played politics with this pandemic. That's the sad thing. Like, autocratic states and non-democratic states, communist states, like, you can, if you put like South Korea into one of those, they've been, like you said, honest up front.
South Korea is not communist. South Korea is not communist.
I know. That's why, but it's autocratic, maybe, whatever.
South Korea.
Yeah. Wait. I'm with Kim.
My bad, South Koreans. Forgive me, Chung Chang. Forgive me. Anyway, what the point I'm trying to make is that this country has played clear politics with the pandemic, with the virus. That they've given contracts for PPE to their own friends and private companies. They've put us on lockdown. They've done furlough and then undone furlough. Everything seems to be a very calculated political game, and the lead person behind it is the buffoon Boris, right? So we all laugh at him and think he's a bit stupid, but behind him, the people that are pulling his strings know exactly what they're doing, know exactly how they're doing this and how they're rolling it out. On the other side, you've got an opposition that is completely non-existent because it's for national unity, national crisis. Therefore, we have to, stand behind the leader and all that, which is complete codswallop, in my opinion.
The opposition, sorry, Kalam, the opposition is so bad that it's got me agreeing with Piers bloody Morgan.
Exactly.
Right? That's how bad Keir Starmer and his whole Blairite cabinet is. Piers Morgan basically tweeted saying, if you don't agree with this government, if you think it's got bad policies, stop bloody agreeing with it. Like, exactly. Why don't you disagree with it? Why do you keep agreeing with it? It's like, oh, we agree with the government. It doesn't make sense. It's like, that's, but anyway, look, carry on. Sorry, I stopped you.
So I think you were saying that the death rates are down. It's because they've got they know a little bit more about the virus in terms of treatment, and they've got some medication which prevents the volumes of people going into ICU and intensive care, which means they're more at risk of death, and therefore the death rates have come down. But alarmingly, a lot of younger people are going to hospitals, and in the north, I was watching and reading that in the north already right now, many of the ICU units and the emergency services are almost struggling. They're not quite.
They're getting full. Yeah, that's right.
And if you bring winter and the flu and all that together, there's going to be a meltdown. And people who are going to be at the rough end of all of this is going to be our communities who are not so well to do. It's going to be the ethnic minority, the black community, and unfortunately these are people that are expendable to the rich people and the leading elite in this country, and the quicker and sooner the general public realize that this is actually a class war. This is actually a battle against the working class and the labor people and the rich elite people.
Yeah, but look, I mean, sorry, I mean, I don't mean to disagree with you, but it might sound like I am. It might sound like I am, but it's not. I mean, look, the pandemic isn't a class war thing, but the people in power are definitely looking after their own. But I don't absolve any of the people, whether they're labor or working class or not as affluent. I don't absolve them, because it is they have mandated these people with the power, right? And it's just like we can't. People can't wash their hands off. This is their own doing. This is their own action. Boris Johnson didn't win the last election by 1 seat. He won it by a landslide. Okay, why? Because all of these people, especially the Labour people, okay, they bought into the nonsense that Corbyn is X, Y, Z, and all of that kind of stuff. They fell into the Zionist trap. With all of this nonsense about Labour is anti-Semitic and all of that kind of stuff. Corbyn is anti-Semitic, all that kind. Why? Only because he stands up for Palestinian rights. Yeah, all of this nonsense. People actually fell for it. Not only fell for it, they swallowed it and they believed it and they voted according to it. So I do not absolve these people. I think look, sometimes you reap what you sow, and people have helped this along. And look, I don't wish bad on anyone, but you now suck it up, man. You made your bed.
I personally, I don't think it was the majority. I mean, the evidence has shown that people in a lower income are more of a victim to COVID-19. That's very evident to you. Yeah. So people on certain social circumstances.
A lot of those people voted Tories, bruv. You go to places.
I mean, that could be just general ignorance, so people don't understand the whole.
Yeah, but that's not ignorance. Is not an excuse.
Even the educated people are still like confused. Like look at how many. Even the scientists.
They're not confused. It's everyone's self-interested. Sorry, Abdul. Yeah. Like capitalism is in everyone's blood. Individualism and capitalism is everyone's blood. None of these people want to care for a society that is united, a community spirit. They don't care about that. Any of these poor people, you say, look, I'll give you £100,000, do this. They'll jump at it. Not even 100,000, man. 5,000, whatever. So money is like, money is a big, massive motivator.
No, it is.
And look, you can see it. We need to look at ourselves, right? How many of us keep talking about, community this, community that, and then we get a little bit of a decent job and everything else, and before we know it, we're taking our children out and putting them into elite schools and everything else, and leaving the rest of the community to be in the schools that are not well run. We don't use our money and our influence to fix the schools. What we do is we take our children out and look after them. So it's selfishness again, right? So we don't really think about it this deeply. We are committed. No. We're like perpetuating this kind of circle of misery, and we don't even want to talk about it.
No, we are talking about it. Come off it, like there's. I can give you plenty of people.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to talk about it. We don't want to even accept it. I mean, you're going to deny it now.
What? Yeah, but maybe they're not able to forcefully put their perspective forward. I'm sure there are people who have moved up the social economic ladder, and they are also contributing and helping in various different ways.
They're taking their children and putting them into private schools.
Yeah, well, if they can afford to do that, they're doing that. But
yeah, so then that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Now that they can afford to do it, they don't care about the other poor man.
No, and you're blanketly saying they don't care. I mean, I know loads of like middle class people.
How do you care? How is your care? I'm going by your action. If you cared, you would have fixed the school, not take your child out and put him in another school. Why don't you use your money influence to fix the school?
Yeah, all right. So you're saying now that people from Tower Hamlets moved to Redbridge and all those areas, yeah, they they shouldn't have done
Oh
that.
no, people from Tower Hamlets that moved to Redbridge, like someone called Cullen, that's like, that's just a typical story, isn't it?
That's the
It's
same
like,
reason,
it's like,
isn't it?
it's just
People want to better themselves.
I give my zakat. I give, I do my bit for the poor people. For you people.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the answer. I pay my zakat. Like, do you remember this whole story about Asda? The two Gujarati brothers, that Euro Garage brothers that bought it. Now, look, no disrespect to the brothers or anything else, and it's not. I don't want to personalize it, but the Muslims were so happy. There were so many groups and on Facebook. Oh wow, fantastic! But not a single one of them looked at how they made that money. And actually, the way they're doing it is actually haram. Like they're using interest, and like people are celebrating it. This is how far away we're willing to move from the deen.
No, I agree with that. No, but what I agree with is that they're not like, everybody was so happy. Oh, Muslims have bought Asda, mashallah, takbir. So what? Like it might have
been the Azad as well.
It might have been, it could be anybody who's bought Asda. I think the issue is that we're so simplistic in our understanding and our approach. Just because they've got like an Islam or a Muhammad name, don't mean that going to live up to that. They're going to live up to the higher standards. But going back to what you were saying, Azad, like, so what you're trying to say that just because like we don't send our kids to like a state school, and we send them to what, like a private school, we don't care.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a bit simplistic, isn't it?
Well, prove me wrong. You care. If you cared, you would have fixed the state school.
Not necessarily.
Why not?
Maybe I on my own cannot fix the state school, and maybe
you need to go and talk to your other rich friends.
Yeah, maybe I'm doing that. And maybe also, like, whilst I'm fixing the state school, maybe my kids would get really crap results in that state school in its current situation.
So you're looking out for your own.
Yeah, I'll take them out. Yeah, I've got a longer term vision, isn't it? My vision is
it never happens, bro. It never happens. This idea. Okay, do you know how do I say this live without actually giving it away? Do you remember Kalam royal family?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say royal family? You understand?
Maybe, yeah.
No, if you don't understand, it's not going to work.
I don't know. Maybe.
The royal family amongst us.
Yes.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. What do you think? Do you think that worked?
Well, that's maybe not maybe they don't.
None of our listeners and viewers know what me and you are talking about, but this idea that what you can do is you go and better yourself, you go and do everything else, you take your children out of the communities, put them somewhere else, they grow up with the different things, and you just think, okay, you know what, they're going to come back and give. They don't. What they come back to is with entitlement. They think they're better, number one, because they've got all of these kind of letters after their name, right? And these guys, they haven't even been educated, so they already have a superiority complex that, these guys are inferior, I know better, and they look down on them and they talk down to them and they tell them what's good. But what no one picks up is, these people that tell these people in the working class what's better, they're getting it from the bigger oppressors, usually the white people, right, who they learned it from, and they're passing down the same thing. So it's reinforcing this kind of, you talked about class, is reinforcing the class divide. It's not, if you want a better community, you got to do it together. Right?
I agree with you.
If you're not willing to take the pain, but you want somebody else's son to take the pain.
Well, I agree with you in the sense that sometimes it doesn't work, but I think these are anecdotal, and there are many examples of the opposite way around where kids
go for it. Name one.
I'm not going to name any.
No. You give me an example. Don't name the person, but give me an example of someone who took their child out from the community, put them in a privileged school, and they became rich and everything else, and they came back to the community and they gave to the community and did not look at the community, down the barrel of their nose.
I'm not going to I'm not going to give any named example,
No,
but
you can't.
I know
There-
loads of people. I
Go
know
on,
loads
then.
of people. I've been
Go
to
on.
so many of these fundraising dinners and that, yeah, right? And I've seen
Oh,
these people
Abdul,
from the
you know these
gutters, yeah, right?
fundraising
Become
dinners.
rich
Do you
and then
have
giving back
any
to the
working class
community,
people there?
yeah? Sorry?
Do you have in your fundraising dinners? Do you have working class people there?
Yeah, of course there were. They were
Yeah.
giving invites to all the local community people, like even all the Bangla media people. Everybody goes along.
Oh, Bangla media people, don't they see themselves a little bit more privileged than the people that aren't in the media?
Well, you know, you got the media people, you got the community people, you got the business
Like who?
people.
Which community? You're talking about community leaders.
Yeah, but we're not going to have a party of one class of people out. There's always going to be, you know, like look.
So why bring up class war?
I've seen a lot of rich, you know, like successful people who weren't successful previously, who are doing a lot for the community, and as long as they do,
what they do for the community, bro?
Well, they donate. They support programs.
Donate what? What do they
donate
donate?
money. They donate money.
I think. Look. I think.
You know, you guys keep talking about all of this. I can't see where people are giving money that's helped the community.
Well, they've given it to mosques.
They sponsor
the masjid. Oh, you're gonna go to the masjid now.
What else do you want?
What do you want? Like them giving to nuclear bomb research center? What do you want?
I don't know, bro. But if your last resort is the masjid, then know for a fact, the mosques mostly is funded by people that are on lower incomes, not by the rich.
Yeah. Well, you know,
look, in Islamic history, there have been khulafa, right, who have had the wealth of the ummah, yeah, and they've sent their children to learn with the most the best alim of the time, like Imam Malik, you know, and they studied.
Look how well that ended up.
They studied with him and they learned with him.
And look how well that ended up.
No, let me finish. You know, and they studied with him. They learned with him, and they were the ones that then sponsored the Muwatta, right? They were the ones that enabled the flourishing and the spreading of the Muwatta of Imam Malik.
No, but that's different. That's people of wealth. I am all for people. Look, rizq is from Allah. If Allah gives someone money, alhamdulillah. I am not jealous of it, and they should have it, and they should not be mistreated because Allah has.
They should study in the bad schools.
No. I'm saying to you, you cannot. If I look, okay, let me give you the example. If I'm obviously I'm not. Say I'm rich, right, and then I decide to take my children and put them in private school and everything else. But then if I'm at the same time going about state schools is really bad and the Tories are bad and this is bad and everything else, then I'm a bit of a hypocrite, aren't I? Why? Because I've already looked after my kids, sending them to private school, and here I am bashing the Tory party or the Labour party, wherever it is, or whoever, or the teachers, they're this, that, and the other, where I'm actually, you know, doing the complete opposite. So I'm talking about these people.
That's hypocrisy. So, for example, if I was to be someone who said, "Look, I don't believe," like, imagine I'm Diane Abbott, yeah, okay. Imagine I'm Diane Abbott. Imagine I'm Diane Abbott, and I'm like, "Look, I believe in comprehensive schools. I believe in state schools. Oh, by the way, I'm going to send my child to a private school." That's a bit hypocritical, whether it's Diane Abbott or Boris Johnson, whatever. But if I've not said that, and that's not my position, if my position
you see, there's some people who say that, okay, and then some people who kind of agree with that, and it's a very big part. Look, Kalam, you're like a middle class person, right? Because you own your house and all of that kind of stuff, and you live in a leafy area and all of that kind of stuff. You have a garden, basically. Basically, you have a garden. Anyone who has a garden is actually rich.
Two TVs, couple of fridges, washing machine, and dishwasher. That makes me what?
Do you have a dryer?
I've got a dryer. Yeah, I've got a dryer.
So you're proper rich then, bruv. That's a proper. So like, if you look in your circles, right, you will find all of these people will be saying these things. You will find these people will be talking about, you know, the state education is really bad. It's this, it's that. They've been complaining about it, but they're looking after their own. This is the thing.
I'm not sure it's that binary. Unfortunately, I know people, yeah, who send their kids, who send their kids to private school. I know, yeah, one of their child is going to a private school. Maybe if my daughter passes her 11 plus, she's going to go to a grammar school as well, inshallah. But I want to be a member of the parent governor committee of my local primary school, like state-run primary school. Why? Because I want to try and improve that school. I want to try and make it. I want my objective is that every child should have a certain standard of education and should have access.
Not the same standard that your son is getting.
No,
that's exactly what you said. And this is, and you know what? If I lived near you, I would campaign against you being a school governor or be on the school board. You know why? Because what you want is like for your children, you want something a little bit more better. But for all the others, let's have a standard of education, right? Yeah. What's that standard?
We need a good standard.
Okay, brother Azad, yeah, you okay. So at home, you're having a fantastic, very good meal, yeah. You're gonna wait around to make sure all your neighbors and everyone's getting the same portion like you as well, while you're gonna eat your meal.
Now, when you have what his neighbors have done.
Okay, right. But how is that meal comparative to what we're talking about? Look, if your question is, if any of my neighbors are starving and I'm eating full time, then I'm guilty. But I know I know every single one of my neighbor on my street, and there's like 5 houses now. 5 houses. They're not Muslims in there. They're basically French, mostly French and Spanish. Yeah. And I say hello to them and everything else, but there's not a single person starving in my neighborhood, bro.
No, but the point you're making is minimum standards, and you having and personally.
No, that's not what I'm making.
A higher standard, I want a minimum standard of education for everyone, but I want a higher standard of education for my own. It's like saying I want a minimum standard of food for everyone, like a sandwich, but I'm gonna have lamb chops. It's the same thing. It's the same analogy.
No. It's like someone like Abdul prefers salmon sandwich than lamb chops. You know that, right? Okay, but that's not the point. Anyway, I think this conversation is really good.
Yeah, like, I'm going to have my 5 messages. I'm going to have my 5. I'm the real working class here, right? Because I'm still in the campus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm the real working class, right? Okay, my kids go to state schools, okay, and I believe education should be fair and accessible to everyone. I don't think people should be, because of their financial circumstances, should not have those choices. There is unfairness in certain categories. However, if my kids are going to my local schools, and sometimes even with our state schools, we're also very selective. We're thinking which one's got good education attainment, and we're being selective in the way because at the end of the day, we want best for our kids. So that's why we're going to send them. But however, I agree, we do have that moral responsibility of making sure the education system in the UK is good and is at a good standard for all kids, yeah, irrespective of what economic background. And the other thing is, if my son or daughter is going to a state school, and Abu Kalam's son is going to a private school, good luck, mashallah, that's very good, at least, they're doing good. But we have to contribute back to the state schools. So I do agree that a lot of us are not focusing and not putting the pressure in order to get these schools up to good standards, and we lack in that. And, as a community, we need to do more. I agree with that. But, I'm not going to be envy because his kids are going to private school.
It's envy. How is it envy? You're even this is the problem. See, when you're not willing to actually accept the problem, it's just like ethical shopping. We bang on about this oppression, that oppression, but we're not willing to make ethical choices. We're not willing to actually sacrifice our way of life, but we're willing to shout and scream about this oppression, that oppression, how the Uyghurs are treated. Like, the Uyghurs are treated like that, but, there's a lot of Chinese products we're still buying by the thousands, right? Most Islamic stores are filled with Chinese-made goods, right? So I'm talking about, it's nothing to do with individual envy. I'm not even talking about that. Like I said, whatever Allah gives, that's as rizq, that's Allah giving. And I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, if you want to raise a society, okay, You have to be part of that society. You cannot be aloof. What? Okay, look at one of the biggest things that happened.
Everybody agrees with that so far. So far, that's agreeable.
Yeah. All right. So okay. I thought you were going to say something. What was I saying? Oh my god.
You cannot be aloof. You cannot be aloof.
Yeah, you cannot be aloof. I actually forgot my thread. But anyway, you cannot be aloof. But I'll give you another example. Look at the countries, a lot of Muslim countries, right? The leaders, the elite, what do they do with their children? They send them to Oxford and Cambridge, to the military base, Sandhurst, and all of that kind of stuff. They come here, get indoctrinated in the Western way, right, with that philosophy, and then they go and impose it back home and actually destroy their own culture and society. This is exactly what's happening. And that's on a macro level. On a micro level, we're doing the same thing as individuals. We don't realize it, but we are. We create these kind of differences and classes, and the gap widens, and we don't realize it. So what I'm saying,
I think you're right, and I think I think every decision comes with its own challenges and all of that stuff and risks. Like you sending your kids to a state school, that comes with so many risks. Your kids might come out, becoming homosexual, becoming a gang member, becoming a drug addict, whatever it is. You send them to a private school, they might come out like a fully fledged secularist and sign up to the Conservative Party, or whatever. But I think a lot of it comes down to parenting and tarbiyah and the kind of lessons that you teach them, the underpinnings the values that you instill in them. It's very possible for a child to go to a private school, yet have an understanding about his role and responsibility, his ethical duty, his affinity to justice, and all of that stuff, and come out of that school very educated, secular education, getting top grades, but also practicing, having love for the ummah, having concern for social justice, all of that stuff. It is possible. I'm not denying it's not possible, but what I'm saying, that's not the norm. The norm is the opposite, and we see it. The easiest way to recognize it is on a macro level. Just look at all of the Muslim countries and the elites and the leaders and where their children are, and when they go back, what do? It's just that simple. Very rare. Now, even amongst that, you'll find one or two that break the norm. That they imagine, because those that are sending them to Oxford, Cambridge from abroad, and Sandhurst and all of that, they're all from an elite class anyway. Imagine if it was Islamic people, like
they are doing it. Islamic people are doing it as well.
Not as many, innit? And
come on, bro. Subhanallah, go and look at who's in Cambridge and who's in Oxford. There's a lot of kids from Islamic personalities as well, so Muslim personalities as well. So it's not a secular Muslim thing. I'm just talking about elite.
It's a good poll question by Musa. She's saying we should do a poll. If we had the money, would we send our children to a private school? Yes or no? And let's see what people are thinking.
Let's see what people are saying. That's a good poll. Well done, Musa. And that we're on air. It's a good thing your husband knows more about our show than you do. Okay, good.
Amino is saying grammar schools are traditionally means of working classes to get better education. He's saying there's a difference between private school and grammar school. Grammar schools are usually a means of the working class to get better education.
And private school you have to pay for.
Yeah, private schools you have to pay for. Musa says it doesn't happen to everyone, but I came from a wealthy family. She said she went to a grammar school, I believe. Yeah, she said she went to a grammar school, and she's saying it doesn't happen to everyone, but I came from a wealthy family and was fortunate enough to go to private grammar school. But when I found my deen, I changed my ways. Alhamdulillah. I worked a part of an organization to give dawah, and also worked alongside hostels to provide food and help people get housing. Allah guided. Look at Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So rich people. Look, it's an interesting.
Listen, like I said, you'll always find an exception. Abu Bakr radiallahu anha is an exception. You are an exception, and there are exceptions, but I'm saying it's not the norm. That's what it is. You can always find an exception to every single argument someone makes, right? But that's not the point. Anyway, I think we've done this subject to death. Let's move the subject on. Yes, almost you did just have a child, and there is lack of sleep. Okay, so I'll forgive you this week. Okay, don't ever forget again. All right, joke. All right, so we've discussed COVID. I think we were discussing COVID, and we ended up here. I don't know how, but you wanted to talk about France, Macron.
Can you put the text for the poll?
Before you go
I'll
to
put the text for the poll.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, do that then.
Go on.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't know what your brother's take on is, but do you think brother Nabil has got a good chance of winning the You Got Talent tomorrow?
Britain's Got Talent. Nabil Abdul Rashid. Yeah, I know Azizbai's lifted his eyebrow, which means he's gonna have something negative to say here. But let me just say it before anybody else. I have supported Nabil from the time that he attacked Bengalis and Pakistanis and he had a little hissy fit on social media, because you know he's a Muslim, mashallah, and he has beef with like Asians a lot. There's a lot of beef with Asians, but I think he's hilarious. I think to be on ITV, primetime TV, millions of people watching, and actually quote a Quranic verse. Boom.
I don't know who Nabil is, bro. That's one thing. Second thing is, I do know about the issues, and I don't even want to get into it. And if the reason I raise my eyebrow is, how sad it is that two of my co-presenters are nothing but the typical. We just discussed about how you spend your time, like watching Britain's Got Talent. I mean, subhanallah, like you cannot get any more typical nonsense than like these entertainment program, which is a disease for the mu'min. It's a disease for the believer. It takes you away, right? What did Hamza Yusuf say when he had some sense about the television? It is the devil incarnate.
He said, don't call it what the saying about the war. Don't call it this, please. Call it when you're sending your planes over Iraq, but don't call it that because it's going to offend the Muslims. Is that what he said?
Listen. Anyway, look. I think we are not. Allah, like Lord, when is our situation going to change? Our situation is not going to change when we are people who get so excited by these little things that a person, comedian, being a comic and an entertainer traditionally is not seen as the highest of achievements. But anyway, we get so excited by these things. Someone buys a supermarket chain and we're so excited. This is the level of the believer at the moment. Sorry. I'm not talking about Nabil. I'm talking about the general entertainment. It's got nothing to do with Nabil, right? I don't even, like I said, I don't know the guy. I'm not talking about it. But I'm saying this is the level, and you see it time and time again. That you give a crumb to the Muslim community, and they get so excited. Oh, look, we've achieved, we've arrived. Oh, that's why. Now you talk about how is Palestine going to change? How is Kashmir going to change? Why is all that going to happen? People keep going, and then no, hold on. Don't interrupt me because you made me forget my thread last time, right? So you do all of these things, you complain, and it's never going to change. And then what do? You go and watch Britain's Got Talent.
All right, you got a supporter in Yahya Chaudhry's popped up. Agreed, absolute nonsense. Maybe they are too integrated. Lol. Look, man, you need to lighten up, guys. Entertainment is part of our deen. Yeah, the Prophet ﷺ said.
Listen, I know that. Okay,
you are the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, Kalam, you did this, right? You remember?
Let me finish, bro.
The Prophet ﷺ, did he organize a comedy show?
What?
That's irrelevant. That question is completely
irrelevant. No. He entertainment with your own family, having a good time with your own family.
Let me put a context in this. Let me put a context in. I do know brother Nabil. Yeah, he's a friend of mine. Okay, he's a friend of mine. We both do the same martial arts. He's a fantastic comedian. It's not that we're supporting You Got Talent. I mean, a lot of us
don't got talent. And get it right. It's one of the top viewed programs.
Right. There you go. Kalam is excited. Kalam is
Issue
excited.
Come on,
Abdul is excited because it's his friend.
Listen, issue is okay. Look, he's managed to get to the semi-finals, gone through. He's into the
Yeah,
finals.
but that's
Then-
to you. That's an achievement.
No, I'm just telling
Yes,
you the
it
fact.
is. Yes, it
He's
is.
in
That's
the
what you
semi-final.
did.
He's
No,
in the semi.
you-
He's in the finals.
He
now,
got to the finals. He's got to the finals, and for you, that's an achievement.
For anybody, it's an achievement.
Anyone's
It's a
achievement,
talent
yeah.
show.
Right,
Right.
and
Yeah.
exactly. I'm not
For my
disagreeing that.
friend,
And
look,
my
brother,
point is,
if
that's the feet of the ummah.
look, brother,
Bar
Azhar, yeah,
humbugs. People who are bar humbugs, they're gonna say it's not an achievement. Of course, it's an
Oh
achievement.
my
It's an
God!
achievement.
Did
The
you just
man
take me into
The
Scrooge?
man- yeah, no, but of course it's an achievement. It's a talent
No
show.
Christmas for
and
you.
It's a talent show, and the judges and I think the audience. I don't know because I haven't watched it this year, unfortunately, or fortunately, maybe. I haven't. Wallahi, I haven't watched it this year. I only watched like some of it because I think that look, the format of Britain's Got Talent is that they do like they go around the country, or that people come in and they perform, and then there's a live audience, yeah. And when it gets to the live audience, it becomes very glitzy, glamorous. But when it's the auditions for the public, you get some really funny like performances, old people trying to do impersonations, magic tricks, gymnasts and all that. Look, some of it for a Muslim eye you can't see because people are revealing their aura.
Oh,
all
really?
That.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
But
What?
Nabil was fully covered.
You're sitting there with your family, with your children and your daughters and your sons and everything else, and all of these really well-dressed, sunnah-dressed women come out and entertain you.
You know what?
You were comparing it to the Prophet ﷺ said entertainment is part of this deen. Where?
And now, entertainment is part of the deen. And secondly, because I'm middle class, I got a remote control, so I can flip it over.
Oh my God! Hello.
Thirdly, I teach my kids about haya and all of that, and sometimes they're going to be people. Close your eyes, say "A'udhu billah," look away, all of that.
Our viewers are a bunch of wannabe capitalists and desperate to be rich. 93% of those that have voted said they would send their children to a private school.
Oh, I don't know what you've been listening.
Let's go back to Nabil. Yeah, listen. Let's go back to Nabil. Yeah, right. So this is the story. Yeah, it's a fact. He's in the final. Please, you don't have to watch him. But he does say good things. He does say good things. He
wait. No, I'm not gonna. If you do this, I'm gonna have to do a counter.
Okay, that's fine. Can I also? I just want before you
don't have to let Abdul finish.
Let Abdul go before he does this bit. Let me just answer. Look, to say that entertainment and diversion is not part of the religion and the psyche of
you know what? You should have been a barrister.
Is really is actually not healthy. I'm being in all seriousness.
No one said that.
There's a fantastic book by Sheikh Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi where he talks about these things. He talks about some
no one is saying that.
Let me finish, right? But entertainment from a Muslim point of view has certain criterias, right? And Nabil, he's gone on that platform and he's stuck to the Islamic criteria for even joking. Rasulullah said you can joke, but you can't lie, you can't make things up, blah blah blah. And his jokes, if you listen to his jokes, they're not obscene, they're not making joke out of people's bodies or figures or women or any. He's talking about being a Muslim, being mistaken for somebody. Like, one of the jokes he cracked was like, some guy came to him in Croydon Lidl and hugged him and said, "Oh, it's you, can I take a picture?" Blah blah blah. So they took a picture and he's like thinking, yeah man, they recognize me because I've been Britain on time. No, they thought he was Fat Boy Slim, the Fat Boy guy, the old rapper Fat Boy. So that got a big laugh. So
Fat Boy Slim is a white guy.
Fat boy something, I don't know, Chunks or Fat Boy, somebody, one of the Fat Boys, one of the Fat Boys, I don't know. And then there was other jokes he cracked up and it was all funny. And you know what? He in his piece, he was talking about how, look, I believe the reason why God created us into nations and tribes is because we can recognize one another. So there's two things here. One is he's creating a different standard of comedy. You know, you can be honest, you can be truthful, you can talk about political things, Black Lives Matter, and make it into comedy, entertain people, and leave them with something to think about. But then there's the backstory as well. Who is Nabil the person? Because he's on every paper, on every radio show, in every channel of communication. And this is what he's saying. What he's saying is, I have severe anxiety. I stutter. I've suffered from abuse and racism, and I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm Black, but I reckon I can do this and I can be successful. I'm a Muslim and I'm confident and I'm proud of being a Muslim. He said, Allahu Akbar. He said, La ilaha illallah on Britain's Got Talent. Boom.
There you go. There you go. And
Come on, my turn.
Wow. Someone said La ilaha illallah in front of television.
Okay,
I've been corrected.
Okay,
it's big nasty. It's big nasty. Yeah,
even on the other step, yeah. I mean, his jokes on racism is on spot, basically, yeah. And you know, he got a lot of criticism. He basically Ofcom, a lot of people, a lot of the far rights organized a massive campaign to kind of like put complaint to Ofcom because of some of his jokes. The issue is not like, okay, we accept him at that platform or not. The question is what is the backlash happening as well. Now, if the right wing people feel that the way he's communicating and is telling the truth, and that's actually hurting them, then obviously we know there is that symptom out there that is afraid of him. Now, okay, people don't have to watch him, people don't have to support him, and that it's not here or there, you know. People.
Yeah, but what? There's people going around, and someone put on the messages. People going around saying, download the app so you can vote.
Download it, vote it, and then delete it.
There you go.
Don't make it such a biggie, man. Download it. Let's get him winning, guys. Come on, let's.
Why haven't Abdul?
I don't know. He's had enough of you.
He's coming over to sort me out.
Can I just say, how do you people know Big Nasty, huh? I mean, A. Rahman and Hushiyar Ali. How do you know that figure? Who is he? And what's
they watched the joke.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
And Hushiyar is saying, is it okay to go on GBBO? What's GBBO?
What's GBBO?
I don't know.
Okay, anyway, listen. But the point I'm trying to make, Kalam, is like if we're dumbing ourselves down as a community, if we are making the benchmark, look, entertainment, okay, the Prophet ﷺ in the Sunnah, in our history, you will not find it in this way, okay? It's not an organized thing. The distraction isn't so much that, you know, people spend money and hours on it. No, it's not like that. Yes, you should be joyful, you should be happy, you should make your with your family and everything else, and maybe with your friends. That's fine, that's different. But to spend, this is a whole industry, this is someone's entire life. They spend time, hours and hours, like practicing whatever it is, like, you know, the acrobatics or the jokes or whatever it is that they're doing to entertain people. This is their life, they made it their life. And as Muslims, if that's our kind of barometer of success, then have we not lowered the deen? Like, no, but I get
what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. But I think it's not about lowering the deen. I think the deen is amazing.
Not lowering the deen. We can't lower the deen. I mean,
I don't think they're intending. No, but I think the deen, from what I understand about the deen, is that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to push the Sahaba at whatever they were good at. You know, and he would ask them to go and kill it in whatever sphere they were good at. Not everybody's going to be a faqih. Not everybody's going to be an alim. Yeah.
So where did the Prophet ﷺ encourage a Sahaba to become a joker, a comedian?
Hassan ibn Thabit was a poet of the Prophet ﷺ.
Come on, bro. Poetry, the poetry is a very high level compared to telling jokes.
And they
are taking it, man.
No, but it's jokes, entertainment, diversionary acts. They all come under diversionary acts, right? Are diversionary acts allowed? Yes, they are. Is telling jokes and entertaining people allowed? Yes, especially if you can.
No one is saying. You're conflating two different things, and so are our listeners. So Hushiyar, you can be an acrobat and earn money. I'm not saying it's haram. That's not my point. Like, you're missing the point I'm making. The point I'm making is, if the expectation, if the pinnacle of our happiness is seeing a Muslim on a program called, what's it called? Britain's Got Talent. Britain's Got Talent. Or the actually GBBO, Faith has told us what it is. It's a Great British Bake Off, and like Nadia Ali, she won it once. If the pinnacle of our achievement is these things, then how is it that we're going to come out of the oppression? These things. Let me finish. The opium of the masses. The opium of the masses is entertainment. Is diversion. Is distraction. Is to take away. What is that? Oh, I've had enough. I don't want to think about all of these sad things. I need to be entertained. I need to feel good. Tell me a joke. You know what I mean?
That's you. That's you. And I feel sorry.
That is the opium of the masses. That's what they do.
No, but they may do it. For us, entertainment could be the awakening of the masses. Bake Off. The Bake Off. Nadia, look, she does a lot of things. Maybe we don't all agree with it, but Nadia normalized the hijab.
Oh, come on, bro.
Nadia,
come on, bro. Please don't go there. Don't go there. She did not normalize the hijab.
She did. No. Nadia went on Good Morning. Nadia went on the BBC with the hijab.
So there's lots of Muslim women go on television with hijab. That's not an achievement.
Not in the context of Nadia. Nadia won the best. She was voted to be the winner of the best show on TV with record-breaking viewership. And then Mary Berry, Mary Berry, the queen of baking, hugged Nadia, cried with Nadia. Then following on from that, look, Mary Berry, enough respect to Mary Berry. Following on from that, Nadia did BBC shows about Bangladesh, going to Bangladesh, seeing the villages in Bangladesh, cooking Bangladeshi cuisine. She went on a tour of like Muslim countries, Indonesia.
Wow. So how did that benefit? Where's the benefit?
Plenty of benefits. She's normalizing Muslims. She's somewhat removing this perception that Muslims are extreme, Muslims are fanatic.
Not at all. She won her thing, I think 3-4 years ago. She won it, in that time, the perception of Muslims has not improved at all. In fact, if anything, she was being attacked. She was getting a lot of Islamophobia. She was being called racist, racist names and all of that stuff. She was being anything.
Yeah, she was
a single thing.
Of course it has. She was getting attacked. She was getting attacked, by the right-wing people and attacked, but she was being defended on TV, on newspapers, by celebrities, by people with huge following on social media. So you can see that the Muslim fight is not a Muslim fight alone. There are other people, non-Muslim, who are going to stand with you, inshallah. They're going to help you. They're going to be with you. So I think it's really, really important that happened. But going back to Nabil. So he's going to be performing, I think, this weekend, guys.
No, he's already done it. Listen. Can I just say, he's already done it today. He's done it today. Tomorrow is the vote.
Let's vote him.
Tomorrow is the vote. Yeah. Okay. Right. So look, Brother Azad said about is the pinnacle of like people's expectation. It's not the pinnacle. It's who defines what pinnacle it is. Yeah. Every little step is a good step. Yeah. If something positive, it's okay, fine. It's not the pinnacle of like people's achievements.
You spend. Look how much time you spend on it.
Who spent what time?
Let's just be honest about it. No, you guys are. I can't believe you're being in such denial. Look how much time. Look at the comments. Some of the comments. Look how much. Let's be honest on our comments as well. How much time do we spend on entertainment, distraction, and diversion? It is the opium of the masses. Anyone knows anything about power? Like, how do you control mass people? Is you keep them distracted. What are you chatting about? Like when you're
agreeing with you, calm down
for 1 hour and then 2 hours. That's 3 hours of your life that's gone that you didn't care about anything else.
No. Look, there's a balance here. Of course, everything there should be a balance. Of course, you're right. And people get people if and this is what Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi said. Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi said nasheed, entertainment, all of these are allowed, but everything in moderation. If you find yourself not praying and you're watching Nabil 24/7 or nasheeds or whatever, then stop it. It's not allowed for you. You can't be doing it. But it has to be done in balance. It has to be done in order for you to revitalize. Why do we go out on bike rides? The whole day. Come on, that's a bit extreme. You're going on a whole day bike. Why? Because you're revitalizing.
It's not for entertainment. It's for my health. It's for my health.
Yeah.
No, it's for health, and that is actually a very prescribed part of our sunnah.
But you could do health, like go gym, do a quick health. Why you do 9 hours?
I can't stand the gym. It's a rip-off. Okay, I can't stand it. B, like when I go on my bike rides, you know what we do? We have nasiha. After 30 miles, we sit down, we get coffee, and then we have nasiha. We actually do. We do reminders. Islamic reminders.
Yeah, but come on, that don't work for me, brother. You're going on a 6-hour bike ride. You're going on a 6-hour bike ride. You're affecting your family. You're probably doing. You're shortening.
Even the internet, Kalab, the internet is against you because you got all fuzzy, bro.
Can you hear me?
You got all fuzzy. We can hardly see you. What's happening?
Is that okay?
You got I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't know.
No, we can hear you, but it's just gone a bit weird. Anyway, let's bring it back to the conversations that we were having, because we've already gone over an hour. Alhamdulillah, that's good. We've gone over an hour, but we do need to kind of round up and everything else. Look, I think like what Kalam said is true. Everything in moderation. Of course, balance, wasatiyah, that is the way of life, and I agree. But I think there's a fundamental flaw when people do not recognize and accept that, the whole entertainment industry, the whole kind of idea of diversion and distraction is actually fundamentally going to work against if you are trying to bring change. If you want to kind of reach your akhirah and you want to do something for the deen in terms of your brothers and sisters that are being oppressed, if you are heavily distracted, diverted by the entertainment of whatever, okay, it's not, and listen, I wish you guys didn't mention names like Nabil and Nadia and everything else, because it's not about an individual. I wanted to just speak generally about this. So it's nothing against any one individual person. Do you get it? If we don't recognize that as actually a big problem, then we can't come out of the cycle that we're in. We have to break that cycle. That doesn't mean you can't have a laugh. It doesn't mean you can't entertain yourself. It doesn't mean you can't go on bike rides, Kalam, right? All of these things
are 10 hours long, brother. You know what I mean?
But it cannot be where like Muslims are messaging each other saying, download this. That is becoming, it's a frenzy, okay? And that shows how much is got into the blood. And it's something else next time.
I got you. No, with all due respect, Azabah, look, I kind of echo what Hushairi is saying. He's saying it's good nasiha, Azabah, but I've spent time with you and you're a good laugh. What's COVID done to you? Look, that's a joke, yeah. Yeah, what's COVID done? All I'm saying is I get what you're saying and you're right, but I think that you've just jumped, and made 1 + 1 = like 10 instead of 2, because the entertainment industry, the music industry, it's an opium of the masses, and it distracts people and lulls them into accepting the norm and not challenging all of that stuff. They're apparatus of the status quo. They can be, but if you look at
they
can be, yeah.
Okay,
they can be.
So you think they're not?
No, they can be. No, I do think they can be. And
I'm not saying they can be. I'm saying they are.
Not in all, but this is what I'm saying. Not in all instances is somebody who
now with an exception.
Yeah.
Do you agree generally that the whole entertainment industry, distraction, diversion, all of that is is
I think it's very simplistic to label it the whole industry, because I know many people who are trying to challenge the mainstream.
Your response to every argument today has been the exception to the rule.
No, but that's the whole thing. The exception to the rules make the change. Like, you know, you have to stand up against. You have to stand up against the tide, innit? At one point, every change.
I'm just call me boring.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are calling you boring. We'll go through this afterwards. You know, at one point, the point is, the point here is that, and I know you're saying you didn't want to mention any names, but in this one, Abdullah mentioned Nabil, who's going to watch it, and so Nabil is actually an exception to what is on the platform on Britain's Got Talent. Everybody else.
Do you like? Okay. I'm gonna buy your argument. I don't agree with it. I'll buy it, and you're all watching it because it's Nabil, the Muslim guy.
I've not watched it.
No, not you. I'm personalized.
You don't have to listen. You don't have to watch it. Yeah, just vote for him.
Hushiar is not only watching BGT, he's watching AGT. I don't even know what that is, right? But anyway,
America's Got Talent.
There you go. So you telling me, right? Most of these Muslims who are watching this now, they turn it off and they don't watch it anymore.
No, but they're
why are they watching it? What other? Okay, so Nabil, mashallah, Muslim guy, giving the right messages on all the other shows where Nabil's not on. What good messages are they getting?
There's some funny messages.
Brothers.
Would it fall within
not necessarily bad? No, it's not necessarily bad.
Would it fall within the Sunnah, Akhi?
It's a laugh. I mean, you know,
you know what, Kalam? I'm not going to put you on the spot anymore because
the point is on the spot. Being on the spot is what I thrive in. Yeah.
Answer the question: Is the entertainment within the Sunnah?
Some of it, yeah. Some of it, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm hoping the bit that they don't watch.
All right. Yeah. Because they're gonna switch the channel. So they got the and using lies and taking the mickey out of people is within the Sunnah.
No, bits of those that are within the Sunnah. There are.
Like name me one act. Okay, the dance acts that they do where girls.
Some of them are not good.
You said they got acrobatics. There's girls and boys there. Okay, yes, they are. They got jokes there, and none apart from Nabil. Okay, all the other people that are telling jokes, they're using lies and they're taking a pop at people. They're taking a mickey out of someone, right? And what other acts are there? Singing. Okay, what other acts are there? What else?
So
magic. You said magic. Are they within the Sunnah?
Card tricks.
Yeah,
magic. Not magic.
Is that within the Sunnah?
Yeah, they're not using jinns. They're doing
card trick is within the Sunnah. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. If I, if I show you 3 cards,
I understand why people label us a certain way.
No, but the thing is, we have to. In life, we have to be so careful not to fall into, the blind spots of extremism in our attitudes. Honestly, because
where's the blind spot of the extremism here?
Yeah, because what you're
being extreme.
Because what you're saying is.
Your deen does not permit something. It's just like celebrating someone who used haram means to make a lot of money and buy something, and you're happy. Okay, you're happy, right? You don't care where that money came from. Was it right or wrong? You don't care, right? You're just happy.
The only thing.
Wait a minute. He's giving his 2.5% zakat. Wait a minute. He spent £100 million on this. Okay, you're happy, but you've forgotten like the ends do not justify the means. Do not justify the end. The end does not justify the means. Let me get it right. Okay, you're forgetting that. This is the constant. This is the axiom of our deen. The ends never justify the means.
Yeah, but you can say that. We can say
you're
that.
willing to sacrifice these.
But Kalam, listen.
No.
You can't squeeze milk out the brick as well. Yeah.
Sorry?
You can't squeeze milk out the brick. Yeah, look, listen, we've actually taken this to some level that like it's not computing with a lot of people as well.
Not out of stone.
Yeah. So
no,
look,
no,
listen.
hang on, Abdul, but hang on. Look,
Oh.
look. Azadbai's gonna say, look, is this halal? Is this haram? You can't. Is this in the sunnah? You can't speak like that. You can't speak like that. You have to be specific. You have to be specific and say, is from the sunnah?
I gave you 4 examples from the show. I
No,
named.
they're not examples. They're not examples.
Look,
You have to say performance X. Is Ashley Cole doing what he belly dancing with a female half naked? Is that within the sunnah? I'll say no. Yeah, I'll say no. I'm just giving you an example. But what I'm saying is, if there are performances on these talent shows that people can watch, that is permissible. Magic. There's no. They never say it's magic. Everybody knows they're optical illusions. And it's not the use of black magic or jinn or anything like that. Optical illusion, trickery of the hand, all of that. It's permissible. It's not allowed for entertainment. It's not like haram. It's allowed. Singing. If it's a solo song, if it's a couple and they're not touching each other, if they're dressed all right, then they're kuffar, they don't have to wear the hijab. Yeah, look down, listen to their voices. Some will say it's allowed. So but you have to, in a discussion, you have to allow for the spectrum of views. You can't just say, oh, my opinion, my sheikh says X, Y, and Z, therefore
I didn't a single sheikh. I'm making you my sheikh, bruv.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that is the case, then please vote for Nabil. That's all I'm saying.
Well, anyway, listen. Okay, listen.
Vote for Nabil.
Okay. The reason I raised this up was not for us to kind of like dissect and kind of like the whole reason was that it's basically we might disagree. We disagree with let's say the whole contents of it. Yeah. For me, that's not the issue. For me, it was, look, the message, the racist message that he's challenging is a good platform. We don't have to watch it. We don't have to even agree with it. We don't, let's say it is haram for whatever reason. Yeah. Okay. The fact is, if he's making good points, if he's making some steps forward, let it be. If you can support and help. If you want to vote for him, just vote for him. You don't even have to watch the show.
Interesting. I just realized something, Abdul.
Yeah, go on.
This week we were supposed to talk about violence.
Yes, I know we did.
Now we spoke about entertainment instead.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And then, by the way, Yahya, nobody's giving any fatwa. Nobody's given any. We're telling you to vote for Nabil. That's not a fatwa.
That's not a fatwa. That's Kalam's request and Abdul's request. My request is you
don't
download the app. Just like I don't download the NHS Trace and
Go ride your bike.
Yeah, don't do any of that. Okay, do not vote. Do not participate. That's what I say. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't vote in the general elections. Don't vote in the mayoral elections. It's not allowed. Especially Bring Got Talent. Don't vote Bring Got Talent. That's what Azadbai said.
I'm just saying about don't download this thing
but do vote for me when I get to what was it, Great Britain Talent, and I'm in the finals with my martial arts show. Yeah, please vote for me then. Yeah,
inshallah, if you can get there.
Inshallah, you get there, Abdul. You get there one day. Anyway, brothers and sisters, we are coming up to midnight. We've actually had a really good discussion. I think it was actually quite entertaining. Did I just use that word, entertaining? Oh no. But just for any new listeners or viewers that have come on, they might think, okay, what's going on here? It's all kind of a point of view and discussion. We all love each other, so don't think we're falling out or anything else. So don't worry, brothers and sisters. We will be still the Darun Show, Easy Talk. Okay, one for all and
all for one. All for one.
There you go.
All for one.
All for one.
Don't be watching Dog Tan in the Three Musketeers because it's all entertainment and opium. It's opium, right? Stay away.
Don't take opium. That's definitely a no. Anyway, all right. Round up. Is there anything you guys want to say before we finish?
Yeah, no. I completely agree that our main focus and our main priority and the love of our life should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Rasul, and this deen. That should be paramount and absolutely our priority. And we should be dedicated in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and doing mujahada for the deen of Allah. And my understanding is that to do that, we need to be focused and we need to have energy. And sometimes we need just a little bit of a break from all of that serious ibadah. We can enjoy like the scenery out there, the twittering of the birds, the cycling, and some jokes here and there, some light entertainment here and there, all within the boundaries of Sharia, in order for us to rejuvenate ourselves and come back and pursue the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if that's our intention for doing all of those things, like, like bike riding or, drawing or painting, diversionary activities, if our intention is for our health, physical, mental, spiritual, and just to take some time out to come back with the true efforts of the deen, representing the ummah, haqq and truth and all that, then inshallah, Allah will count our diversionary acts as ibadah as well. And that is, the beauty of our religion, because every deed is judged by its intentions, inshallah. And finally, there is a really, really good book, a small pamphlet by Dr. Yusuf al-Qaradawi about diversion and art, about photography, music, according to the Sharia. I'd advise brothers and sisters to grab that book to give you a perspective, because there are different perspectives, a perspective on all these subjects from one of the shuyukh of our time. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, I just want to say, look, all of us are sensible, mature, and we're all going to be accountable for ourselves. Yeah, so whatever we do is basically on our shoulders. So whenever you're making a decision to do something, or you want to look at certain entertainment, or you want to enjoy yourself in a particular way, the consequences is on your shoulders if it's in the wrong way, and you have to be mindful for that. But the other thing I like to say to everyone: look, help and support people who are doing good, in whichever field they're in, just for helping them to progress, whatever way we can do that, we help them. Not for us to be engulfed in wasting time on anything like that. Like, for example, on this particular debate, I'm just going to support the brother. I know him very well, and I hope that he's able to use that platform to do good things. And if he does not do it in a good way, I'll be there behind the phone, hold him to account for, if he does anything at the order as well. So having a relationship is giving me the opportunity to look at and say, okay, fine, good luck with him, inshallah, if he's doing something good. But not just him, but anyone else in our Muslim communities. We don't have a lot of role models out there. We need to see a lot of good role models. We need to do whatever little we can. I know we want to really, really make a big changes, but sometimes those little changes can probably make us move forward. We want to see we're achieving certain things as well, but it's not the end. It's not the only means. That's no way I will agree with that. There's a lot of things we have to do, and alhamdulillah, you've probably seen us talk about all those kind of other areas as well. We don't just stick to one mode or one medium to actually try and achieve something, but we try and do our best to stay within our faith and be strong in that as well. It's a learning curve for all of us. I hope you really enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. Yeah, I get battered, because my both ears are like kind of like gone now from one this side and one this side. Yeah. But the other thing is, in the difficult circumstances, I had to like move. The battery went on my phone from a laptop to a phone. Then I can't really kind of jump in as well because I can't really shout.
Please.
I can't shout and scream as well because my mum is sleeping. So yes, all those kind of constraints are there. But I really enjoyed it today. Yeah, Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair. No. I hope your ears are ringing even after we finish. Some good news from 93%. The vote for sending people's children to private school went down to 78%. So 22% are seeing the light. That's good. I think just to. Kalam didn't mean it in this way. I don't see entertaining yourself, being healthy and everything else as different from the deen. It is part from the deen. We should not look at it that we're taking a break from our religion to do some exercise or to have some fun and everything else. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. Islam is a way of life. That means it includes all of this stuff. And all I'm saying is we should be doing stuff that is going to be beneficial in terms of what we project as well. If we're projecting about certain things, then we've got to make sure that our personal actions are also conducive to bringing that outcome, and that's what the discussion's really been about, whether it's to do with private school or entertainment and everything else. So look, you know, there is a lot for us to do. There's a far more things that we need to understand and achieve, but the only way we can do that is actually being able to have these conversations openly, having different views, and then still keep the brotherhood together. The unity is really, really important. So brothers and sisters, I see these debates, you know, we're kind of play acting it a little bit. It's not that we actually fixed it or rehearsed it. It's just that we're using different opinions that's out there. But what we need to do is make it in a way where then we're still the same, you know, brothers and sisters. We're tight with each other. We look out for each other. We need to be able to do it like that, not get into camps and get to the point where we disunite ourselves, because that is our greatest weakness, and our greatest strength is in our unity. So inshallah, we will stay united, and we will see you next week. Jazakumullah khair, everyone. Have a good evening, and inshallah see you next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.